Three lighthouse keepers vanished from a remote island near Scotland. No bodies were ever found, no signs of struggle, no witnesses. But when the replacement crew finally arrived, they discovered something deeply unsettling inside the lighthouse. The clocks had stopped. One chair was knocked over. A meal sat untouched. And one detail terrified investigators most. One of the men had reportedly been crying before they disappeared. Experienced lighthouse keepers were never known to do that. So what happened on the Flannan Isles? Far off the coast of Scotland lies a small isolated chain of rocky islands known as the Flannan Isles. Cold, violent, and surrounded by some of the most dangerous waters in Europe. In 1900, a lighthouse was built there to guide ships safely through the storms. Three men were assigned to maintain it: James Ducat, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur. Experienced lighthouse keepers, men who understood isolation, men trained to survive brutal weather conditions. But in December of 1900, something happened on that island that would become one of history's strangest disappearances. On December 15th, passing ships reportedly noticed something disturbing. The lighthouse light was out. That should never have happened, especially during dangerous winter storms. Attempts were made to contact the island, no response. But severe weather delayed rescue crews for several days. And during those days, nobody knew what was happening inside the lighthouse. On December 26th, a relief vessel finally reached the island. At first, the crew expected a simple technical issue, maybe illness, maybe storm damage. But the moment they approached the island, something already felt wrong. No one waited at the landing platform, no welcome signal, no movement, only silence. The lighthouse stood motionless above the cliffs, watching the ocean. A man named Joseph Moore climbed the steep path toward the lighthouse. As he approached the entrance, he later admitted feeling overwhelmed by dread. Inside, the scene was strange, but not chaotic. The lamps had been cleaned and refilled. The beds were unmade. A meal remained partially untouched. One chair had been knocked over. And most unsettling of all, the three lighthouse keepers were gone. Completely gone. Investigators immediately searched the island. Nothing. No bodies. No footprints. No signs of violence. No evidence the men had escaped by boat. And then investigators discovered something strange inside the lighthouse logs. Entries written days earlier described severe storms crashing against the island. One keeper reportedly wrote that the winds were the worst he had ever seen. Another entry claimed one of the men had been unusually quiet. And one line disturbed investigators more than anything else. It suggested that Donald MacArthur, a man known as a hardened and fearless sailor, had been crying. But here's where the mystery becomes even stranger. Weather records later suggested there may not have been a storm in the area on the dates written in the logbook. Meaning one of two things had to be true. Either the logs were inaccurate, or the men experienced something nobody else saw. The official explanation claimed a massive wave swept the men into the ocean while they attempted to secure equipment near the cliffs. And yes, parts of the island showed signs of storm damage, but critics questioned the theory immediately. Experienced lighthouse keepers knew the dangers of the cliffs. Why would all three men leave the lighthouse at once? Protocol required at least one keeper to remain inside at all times. So why was the lighthouse abandoned completely? As the years passed, far stranger theories emerged. Some believed the men encountered smugglers operating near the island. Others claimed they saw something unexplained in the ocean below the cliffs. There were even rumors among sailors of strange figures moving near the lighthouse during storms. And because no bodies were ever recovered, the mystery only grew darker with time. What makes the story so unsettling is not violence, not destruction, but silence. Three experienced men vanished from a remote island without leaving behind a clear explanation. No final message, no confirmed evidence, just an empty lighthouse staring out across the sea. And for over a century, nobody has been able to fully explain what happened on the Flannan Isles. But perhaps the strangest detail of all came from later lighthouse workers. Some reportedly claimed they occasionally felt as though they were not alone inside the tower, especially during storms. And even today, the abandoned islands continue to attract investigators searching for answers hidden somewhere between the cliffs, the ocean, and the silence those men left behind. So what do you think happened to the Flannan Isles lighthouse keepers? Were they swept away by the sea? Did something force them off the island? Or is there another explanation history never uncovered? Comment your theory below. And if you enjoy dark ocean mysteries, unexplained disappearances, and eerie stories that become stranger the deeper you investigate them, subscribe to Echoes of Mystery, because some mysteries are never solved. They simply fade into the fog.